That was crazy. It was my kids playing, but I don't know. It was like, it was almost like I just thought, I don't know, maybe it was my mama bear instincts was kicking in. I thought something was wrong, but they're actually just having a lot of fun up there. So I'm so sorry. But my babies come first. So we were talking, if you go listen to the first part of this message, which I'm sorry I had to cut it off and come back on. If you go listen to that, we are talking about the 48 laws of power and the psychopathy of that. That's something that's been coming up in my energy lately. And I think there's somebody in your energy or in my energy that is using these laws of power that Spirit wants to bring attention to. Because this is something that you can find it online. There's people who, oh, thank you, Marie Lightworker. I had to put my kids first. So there's somebody who's a fox, somebody who desired you to stay single. They were looking for some kind of, I don't know, movement when it comes to you. They wanted you to be fragile or they perceived you as fragile. They could possibly have some kind of situation they're in because they were being sneaky. They were being sneaky. They could have used the 48 laws of power, either subconsciously or consciously, to gain some kind of power over you. They wanted to entangle you into some kind of situation, but now there's some kind of trouble blowing in, and their spirit says they need to proceed with caution. There could be some kind of reward that they were looking for. Some kind of reward. They wanted it says having your cake and eating it too. Yeah, they could have been doing something or wanted something out of you. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out. But they did these actions, these 48 laws of power, because they thought it would bring them good fortune. They were using primal instincts. This is ancient wisdom. They could have been using some kind of, I mean, I wouldn't, okay, confirmation. They re- they actually could have been using some kind of, I don't know, it says ancient wisdom, so I'm getting the 48 laws of power. I don't know where it comes from, but there could have been something they had that kind of like matches that, kind of like the 42 ideals of Ma'at. The 10 commandments are derived from that. Like the 42 ideals of Ma'at is older than the commandments, and so the commandments are derived from that, kind of like that situation here. Spirit said yoga. Oh, ancient wisdom. They could be possibly be some kind of spiritualist or yoga instructor or some kind of person that's in the spiritual workplace or something. They wanted they wanted reward without doing the work is what I'm getting. They did something sneaky because they wanted to take a big bite out of life. They wanted to be dynamic. They wanted to be somebody big, I guess I'm getting. So they may have implemented the 42 laws of power to get what they wanted. Lollipop. But it's in reverse. It's in reverse. Something good and positive coming in. Positive, exciting, excellent opportunity, but it's in reverse. So whatever's coming in for them is not going to be what they thought. It's not going to be what they thought. They thought that by doing whatever the sneaky work is that they did, we'll find out. I'll get clarification. But they thought it would bring them good fortune if they took these actions against you or got you entangled into some kind of situation or made you appear fragile. That's very specific for someone. What goes up must come down. Ferris wheel. What goes up must come down. Repeating cycles. They They were wrong about something. Spirit said you were wrong. They were wrong about something. They were wrong about what they were going to receive. They lacked the ability to have deep personal connection. And this is polyamorous. They could be very promiscuous. They could be very, they could be experiencing some kind of insomnia right now. They might not be able to sleep because of what they did. That's interesting. Okay. I don't know how I feel about the deck, but it's new to me. Oh my gosh, at the top before I move on. Crumbling foundations. Crumbling foundations, unexpected happenings, a tower moment. Oh shit, an upsetting event. An upsetting event. What was this upsetting event? What was this upsetting event? What did this person do that changed? Or they thought they were going to get a reward. So I'm guessing some kind of like, you know, they sort of said yoga. So maybe they thought they were, maybe they thought they were going to be like a big deal or get some kind of fame or something. Look at this. Karma is their trouble. Other gifted people's cards. Readers saying this. It looks like she was under some kind of illusion. Look at her 3D glasses. She thought this could be a feminine energy. This person thought that whatever they were doing was going to manifest something for them. And they may have been in an illusion, some kind of illusion, that made them believe that this was going to be true. What made them believe? Why did they believe this? Why did they believe this was true? Why did they believe this is true? And these are all children. These are all children. In this picture, they're all children. Confirmation. They could have been surrounded by very immature people. They could have been surrounded by people giving them advice that were very immature. I love cranberry juice. Apple juice is my favorite. Look at this beaver. He's leaning on a faulty foundation. I love cranberry juice. Apple juice is my favorite. Doesn't it seem very like staged, very fake? I love cranberry juice. Apple juice is my favorite. It feels very staged, very fake. A faulty foundation. Whatever they did didn't work because their intentions weren't true to begin with. There's something that this person has to do with spirituality, or Spirit said yoga. So I don't know, either they need to do yoga if they want to break some kind of barrier they have, or they were using spirituality as a way to justify something they were doing, to justify why something was going to work for them, you know, something like that. But they're very immature. They're very immature. You know, this reminds me, I just got a nugget of Adam and Eve they were given spiritual knowledge before they were ready, before they were spiritually ready to handle it properly, right? That's kind of like what I'm getting here. And so this is just like this coincides with our episode of soul integration. There's people in the collective that are searching for answers, that are unhealed, that stumble upon high level spiritual knowledge, and then all of a sudden they believe, without integrating the spiritual knowledge into their own lives, like actually implementing it, they have a false illusion that just by knowing the information makes them some kind of conduit of God or something, or makes them closer to God or something like that. I think drinking my first sergeant's man juices. Well, thank you for sharing that, Vanos, but that is TMI. So they may have been sharing. So this masculine may have already had a faulty foundation or a false sense of stability when it comes to whatever spiritual knowledge they had. This is somebody that believed just by knowing it made them superior or better, or made them more knowledgeable than most. And the mouse is sitting down, who's a feminine energy, which tells me that she was following this person. So this is somebody who was believing at face value what somebody was saying about themselves and what they know and what they're capable of doing. That's a very dangerous line to walk. That's very dangerous. And look at this. There's something that broke the ice, something that finally broke their foundation, that had them crash down into the ice. And look, she's mad at him. And look how his stature changed. So he's all muscular beaver here, but now he's all, he's not in shape. And I'm not saying that people who are overweight are out of shape, but this person is. He has some kind of. He's not healthy. He's not a healthy person. Confirmation. He was just acting like it. And there's someone in the background who's watching these people. There's someone in the background who's watching these people fall, that's realizing that these people aren't who they say they are, who's realizing that these people were manipulating people. It could be a couple. He is knocking down the apple tree, not knowing they sabotage what they love because impress. This seems like esoteric reading. I didn't know that the ice was so soft. I didn't know the ice was so soft. I didn't know. Yeah, the thing about beliefs is that just because they exist and just because they're out there for you to consume, like the 48 laws of power, doesn't mean that it's true. And energy never lies. You cannot, once you develop your gift of discernment and you connect with that part of yourself, you use that as a way to know if something resonates with you or not, instead of taking it at face value. This masculine got this feminine into some kind of illusion of power because they expected some kind of reward by some kind of spiritual knowledge that they were implementing through manipulation. And it doesn't have to be energy manipulation, but essentially when you're like using people against each other or finding people's weaknesses and using it against them and spying on them and doing these things, the 48 laws of power are saying that is manipulation. Play on people's needs to believe, to create a cult like following. This is a masculine that may have been drunk off the power of this feminine believing everything that they say and using that as a way to have power, drunk off of power. Looks like leading to danger. Yes. Yes, it's a thin line to walk. You have to be able to discern if somebody's actually walking in that energy. There's a difference between somebody who says that because they know all of this information, that makes them all powerful, all knowing. And just because they claim that doesn't mean that they are that. And I think that's the main lesson that Spirit's bringing us. Let's go on a safari. This masculine took them on some kind of wild adventure that led to their demise, that led to them falling. What goes up must come down. A tower moment. Yeah, tower moment. And there's a bunch of people around them that are starting now to realize that everything they said may have been a lie. That some kind of boys club, some kind of I don't know, a group of men, or hello, thank you for being here. It could be a group of boys. It says no girls allowed. This oh this feminine energy may have thought that they were in some kind of position of power because they may have been the only feminine in a boys club. They may have come into contact with a group of men where the men were manipulating them into believing that they were like included into their like club or something. And that gave them a sense of like needing to prove themselves to this group of men. So that's why they may have gone so hard on trying to chase some kind of reward that they thought that they were going to get. And that's why they were being really sneaky, because they were it was some kind of weird friend group or something that's like mostly men. I mean, it is all men. There's only one feminine. And the feminine energy, there's a masculine in this men's club that portrayed some kind of spiritual knowledge, or like they had some kind of power, but they were on a faulty foundation. They're on a faulty foundation. They were never a true spiritualist to begin with. And this, oh my gosh, I think they may be alcoholics. They may do a lot of substances. They may drink a lot together and come together and do something. And so this masculine may have taught this feminine how to do something when it pertains to the 48 laws of power or spirituality, that made them become disillusioned about what they were actually doing and the consequences of what they were doing. They had rose-colored glasses on. Sad thing, not being read. These 48 are learned, programmed. God forgive them. They don't know how great they are. Good morning, Robin. Spirit says good morning. Double time. So definitively. Spirit loves you. So this is a group of very immature people, very unhealed people who are still emotionally at a very adolescent age. They're very much stuck in a lot of childhood trauma, confirmation. These are people who are looking to be led, who are looking for a leader to tell them what to do. And what we're learning through our own experiences and through the messages we get from Spirit is Spirit wants to limit the amount of false spiritual leaders, because these spiritualists claim to have, universal knowledge and have this connection to God, but they don't act godly. They're not walking in divine energy. They're not disciplined. They have no self-control. They don't take care of their bodies. They don't do the work that is required for you to have such great responsibility of great high-level spiritual knowledge. And also, these people are doing substances. I love cranberry. Consumed by darkness. I love cranberry juice. Apple juice is my favorite. And what we're learning is that when you walk in this energy and you're unaware of the consequences of walking in this energy, it leaves you open, it leaves you susceptible to intrusive thought, and it brings experiences that match what you're entertaining, what you're putting your energy into, okay? And these people are putting their energy into manipulation. People admire the bold and hate the timid. Consequently, never do something half-heartedly. People will sense your doubt and your reputation will suffer. This is all about pride and ego. This is about, well, I don't want people to figure me out, that I'm not this real spiritualist. So let me just go 10 times harder with whatever I'm doing to prove to these people that I really am worthy of their praise. That's not what you want. This is a group of people that you don't want their praise. You don't want to be in these people's perception of greatness. They're not walking in greatness, okay? So this is a group of boys that and some feminine energy came along, possibly because of substances or drinking, and got introduced to spiritual knowledge and to prove herself, to prove that she could be part of the boys, part of the club, that she was worthy of being at the level that they are at because of her inadequacies. She started doing some kind of manipulation, okay? Play into people's fantasies, control options, get others to play with the cards you deal. Don't give people a choice. Control the options and make them think they're playing the cards you dealt them. They will believe they made the decision when in reality you did. I mean, this is crazy. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them gives you power. Don't consume yourself as something you can't have. You'll appear more powerful if you act like you don't care. I mean, just like really, really dark energy. This isn't for whatever. I'm not sure if this is a subconscious thing, like Marie Lightworker said. It could just be a programmed behavior of like unhealed people and needing control and stuff. But I don't know. Come back with the ball. Come back with the ball. So, what I'm getting from this is that there could be people who are running away from these two people, that are taking what they have and leaving them because they're seeing that they're falling, that they were on a faulty foundation, that they're falling in shit. They're having a tower moment. So people are starting to leave them. Their shadow is showing. Look at the shadow of this tree. They've showed some kind of darkness about them or their true colors in some way, and people are escaping this situation and people are leaving them. Damn. Let's look in the philosophy book. Spirit, tell us more about what these people did. Like, who did they manipulate? Why did they do it? David Hume, an inquiry concerning human understanding. In general, it may, I think, be established as a maxim that where any cause is known only by its particular effects, it must be possible to infer any new effects from that cause. It must be impossible. It's a type of crystal. Thank you, Spirit. It's established that the cause is known only by its particular effect. So whatever they're going through, people are starting to see that by what they're going through, which is some kind of tower, that whatever they were doing, manipulation they were doing, whatever they were saying about themselves wasn't true, because the cause and effect of what's happening would make that impossible. It's impossible for somebody who's walking in divine energy to be going through such catastrophic things. So there's something happening to them where they're losing everything, where they're falling, things, bad things are happening to them. If you were such a spiritualist, if you were such a good person, if whatever they say they were was true, then why are all these things happening to you? That's what Spirit is saying right now. It's impossible to infer any new effects from that cause, because cause and effect, that's a law of the universe. Cause and effect. Whatever action you take will have a consequence, depending on the energy that it was done in. Okay, so they were walking in manipulative energy, possibly psychopathic energy, because they were messing with some kind of spiritual information that they were ignorant students of, that they didn't understand. They looked at it like some kind of game, like it was a toy. Okay, it's not a toy. This is not a game. Spirit says all the time, this is not a game. Since the qualities which are requisite to produce these new effects along with the former must either be different or superior, Spirit said, frequencies, or of more extensive operation than those which simply produce the effect. Whence alone the cause is supposed to be known to us. We can never therefore have any reason to suppose the existence of these qualities. To say that the new effects proceed only from a continuation of the same energy. Just what we freaking said. You cannot expect to have good things or rewards when you are manipulating, when you're not in that energy. You have to match the energy that you want to receive it. If you want abundance, then you have to walk in that energy of love and abundance. You cannot gain reward or even anything monetary or 3D physical reality monetary gain. If you can get it temporarily, but it will come at a cost. So these people, they did this because they wanted to receive a reward. They were manipulating people, doing something because they thought they would receive something good. And that's not how it works. It'll just be a continuation of the same energy. And you'll have the effects of what you gave, and it will not remove the difficulty. For even granting this to be the case, which can seldom be supposed, the very continuation and exertion of a like energy, it's impossible, for it is impossible and can be absolutely the same. I say this exertion of a like energy in a different period of space and time is a very arbitrary supposition, and what there cannot possibly be any traces of in the effects from which all our knowledge of the cause is originally derived. Basically saying, if you come into spiritual knowledge and you use it in your ego to have power over people and to gain money, that is not going to, that's an energy. That's what you're projecting. That's what you're giving. You cannot expect to gain happiness or abundance or anything that is going to be more long term with that energy. You're going to experience the same thing, the same intention you exerted energy into to receive something will be the energy you get when the effect happens. Does that make sense? Okay. So these people don't know energy, basically. They don't understand energy. And it's impossible for them to infer that any different effect can be inferred. So these people keep doing something So these people they keep, I got you. I get what you're saying. They're expecting a different effect by walking away and not addressing that they made a mistake. They think that by putting up walls and barriers from and avoiding people that they involved in this situation will automatically just make it go away or make their karma stop happening. But that's not going to stop happening. They're going to have to go through it. Oh, and they're trying to act like they just forgot what happened and what they did, as if forgetting is going to stop the karma from happening. Well, if I just pretend that I didn't do those things, and I don't, I don't address the fact that I manipulated people and I hurt people, then maybe my karma won't go through. Maybe it'll just go away. This says right here, Spirit says that's impossible for you to still hold the same energy and expect different things to happen. It's impossible. You have to address the energy first and change and transmute that energy so you're not walking in that energy field. Otherwise, you're going to attract everything that matches your manipulative energy. Just forgetting you did it or pretending like you didn't do it doesn't change the fact that you did it. You have to accept that you did that, and you have to go through whatever cause and effect happens by you taking these actions. These 48 laws of power. These are 48 things that you should not do to people, that the energy you should not walk on to gain power. There's no such thing as power. There's no such thing as control. And if you're walking in that energy of needing that to feel good about yourself, take that as a sign that you haven't cleared your field. You haven't. And you can't expect different things to happen to you when you're still walking in that energy. It's impossible. It says right here. It's impossible to infer a different effect. In human nature, there's a certain experienced coherence of designs and inclinations, so that when from any fact we have discovered one intention of any man, it may often be reasonable from experience to infer another and draw a long chain of conclusions concerning his past or future conduct. But this method of reasoning can never have place with regard to being so remote and incomprehensible, who bears much less analogy to any other being in the universe than the sun. than the sun. When you come through, Spirit, basically what Spirit's saying is that there's a reasonable level of grace when you're in 2000s, when you're an ignorant student. Okay, God gives you grace to understand the lessons he's trying to teach you, or that you're trying to teach yourself on a soul level. But if you keep on ignoring and not taking accountability for confirmation for the actions you took, then it puts it brings you farther from the sun. And the sun is our light source. The sun is Father, right? The sun is cosmic knowledge. The sun is being connected to the universe. It draws you farther away from that. And so you are in a colder, darker place. You don't feel the warmth of the sun. If you do not, it says right here, there's a reasonable amount of leeway that God will give you for you to navigate your own shortcomings. But if you are so remote in your accountability and your ability to take accountability for your actions, then it becomes incomprehensible for you to be close to the sun. It's just not possible. So for this group of people, just separating and going your separate ways and not actually taking accountability for whatever they did. I would like to know what they did, because Spirit says it's incomprehensible. And it's time for them to admit they have no authority and to ascribe to God, because they have been lacking God and they've forgotten their perfection. They've become defective. They've become defect of perfect. They've become defective of their perfection. The supreme, and they haven't been ascribing to the supreme being. It appears that they exerted all of their work into flattery and into wanting to be flattered. Yeah, I am. I'll be up in a minute. No, not yet, baby. I'm almost done, okay? I'll be up in about 10 minutes. That's my baby. We're gonna go play in the snow. I like the way you say there is no such thing as control. That's deep. It takes time to heal from this and think the glass always half full. Keep on every day and break those chains that bind. Yeah, definitely. It's not that you're not supposed to. That's why we are born and forget our divinity, our natural state of non-physicalness, and how we're perfect. We come here to be imperfect. It's like that song by McGill, "Where's the fun in forever?" We live forever. There's no such thing as death. So God gives you that leeway of understanding that, we come here with the veil of forgetting of who we are, and it's up to us to come back to remembering. But how many cycles, how many times are you going to just walk away from what you did, that where you're just going to act like what you did didn't happen and you're just going to forget it, and what are the ways we can take accountability? Let's go there. Let's try to make this more about solution based. Let's look, and I never thought of it that way. Spirit, how can these people take accountability? Like, what are they people are afraid to admit the wrongdoings they do, especially when they're this deep, when they were such depraved manipulation, when it had included hurting people. It's really hard for people to accept that they went to that level of darkness, but it does not mean that you cannot come back from that. It does not mean that you cannot heal from that. It doesn't mean that just because you did that in that moment doesn't mean that that's how you are forever, Patience, think of a group setting you entered when young. Friction. When you ask, what am I missing? Intuit moments. Learn what happened. Learn what you're missing that made you think this way. The moments are entirely exclusively about you. What surprises you about the choices you made? What challenges you when you think about that? What changes or freshens or your perspective of thinking? Your mental reflex is what you can't predict when you're experiencing trillions of shifting features. All you can do is observe your intuitive moments when they light up your mind. How do you do this exactly? How do you spark the kinds of insights that have any hope of building bridges in a divided world? First, you need to find the friction. Yes, like I just said, we come here to be imperfect. It's not these people who have the need for control and power. They have this false illusion that they need to appear to have all the answers. They need to appear to have the power and the control. They need to appear this way in order to have praise, because there's a part of them that feels like something's missing. And so they think that by having this level of control or power makes them have some kind of advantage or something. I remember the ways God helped me my whole life. a lot because I didn't think so many people I surrounded myself with. Exactly, yes. I think that we need to, this group needs to take whatever actions they took, and maybe that's why it's not coming up, because Spirit doesn't want us to focus on what they did, but this could be a group of people that needs help understanding why they did it. There was some kind of need to feel superior, some kind of need to feel seen, some kind of need to feel like they had control over other people and how they were perceived. And that's friction. And we come here for the friction because it's for soul growth, it's for soul development. When we're in our pure non-physical state, there's no friction. It's pure positive energy. It's pure love. There's no friction. And that's why we come here, why we choose to have physical experiences, and not just on earth. There's many other physical experiences that we can have that aren't even in this universe. And we need to, we are so limited by our understanding because of our veil of forgetting that it's up to us to remember how limitless we are, and that we place these self-imposed limitations on us. And what it does is it narrows the way that we perceive things. And these people use spiritual knowledge as a way to gain love. Basically, it all comes down to love. These people thought that by doing this, they'd gain some kind of reward in multiple levels. It could have been money, it could have been fame, it could have been acclaim, the clout. They wanted to look like, that I'm the spiritual leader, that people come to me because I'm powerful and I have whatever. I mean, I can't pretend to know what that's like. I don't know what that's like. I really don't. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but I've never wanted power. I've never needed it. And so that's why I do these readings, and why I think it's important to bring this perspective through, because people will do immoral acts and not understand why they did it, and not understand that it can be healed, and not even look at it and ignore it and pretend it didn't happen. And that's just not what you can't do that. Otherwise you just repeat it in a different cycle with new faces, but same things, that are you're confronted with. And that's integration. It's about in taking those that spiritual knowledge and actually implementing it into those moments where you're feeling like something's missing. Usually if you encounter somebody that makes you feel like you're not smart enough, or you're not successful enough, that's friction. That's a friction. That's a lesson. That's somebody that is put there for you to come into awareness that you feel like something's missing about you. Why do I feel this way? Why do I want to manipulate this person because I'm threatened by their success? What about their success makes me feel less than? And why am I allowing myself to feel this way? These are very important questions you have to ask yourself. I don't mean to be cute, but things I learned in kindergarten. These are things that people missed in their childhood and that they're still repeating in their adulthood. Childhood lessons that should have been closed out when they were a child, okay? So when we treat curiosity as a passive state that turns on or off on its own, we're missing an opportunity to own this wild and wacky virtue of ours by priming our minds to receive curiosity, then pointing it where we want it to take us. What do we need to know about curiosity to direct it at the things we're missing? And how can we use it to extract new insights and understandings about a tense, messy world, even across a big divide? That's so true, because this is mind the gap, collect knowledge, reject easy answers, embrace complexity. Yes, come through spirit. That's exactly what we talk about in the soul integration. There's no shortcuts. If somebody came, this is about somebody being on a spiritual journey, and somebody in their circle was threatened by that and wanted and became in competition, and they came across somebody that matched their vibration, that was that they looked up to, that was some kind of mentor to them, that wasn't actually walking in divine energy. They were on a faulty foundation. And their curiosity got them to that place. But when they were collecting the knowledge, they didn't reject the easy answers. They looked for an easy way to attain spiritual, I don't know, receptivity, to be receptive to guidance. They looked for an easy way, which is where the spiritual knowledge comes in. They could have, and they started using manipulation. They could have very well used energy manipulation because they wanted to one up somebody. That's not the intention that you take in order to take spiritual knowledge and apply it to your life. That's the wrong intention. And so it's not an easy journey to go on a spiritual journey. You have to confront a lot of things about yourself, that 2000s, that make you feel inadequate, that make you feel less than. You have to confront those things, because if you don't, it consumes you and you start acting in this energy where you subconsciously apply these dark things that you're not transmuting because of your inadequacies, your insecurities. And that's what's happening here. Okay, now these people are walking away from whoever this, I don't know if they're a couple or if it's just a man and a woman, or I'm not really sure how they came together, but they ended up working together a lot because they would drink together and do substances together. And this woman started being, I don't want to say subservient, but some kind of follower of this masculine. But what goes up must come down. Now they're at the end of what they were doing, and they're getting the cause, they're getting the effect of what they caused. Okay? I'm gonna do my guilty cards. So tell me, I don't know, tell me what you want. I don't know. I'm so tired of this energy because it's like, I'll read it because it's here and people are going through it, but I'll be happy when it's over, when I can read other things, you know? Volunteer for experimental drug trial. I told you they were doing some kind of experiment on drugs. They were experimenting with energy manipulation. They would come together really excited to do something out of a book, confirmation to do something out of a book that they were doing to manipulate people. Express their feelings best through interpretive dance. Because they don't know how to express their feelings. These are people who are not connected. They don't have deep personal connections with people. They had a very superficial relationship with this group of people. They're acting out of their pride and ego. They wanted to be seen as somebody worthy of being part of this boys club because they thought it would be cool, basically. No fast food, make a meal, better health, save money. Yes, exactly. Hi, Corey. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Bring home a stray dog or cat. Yeah, these were like stray animals that came together to go on a safari together. These are all broken people that were not in divine energy, that were all having, they were all, I'm not saying everybody's on different levels of their journey, and I'm not saying that anyone who's at a certain level is good or bad. It's not about that. But when you are in Christ consciousness and you're living the 42 ideals of Ma'at and you're applying that to your life, and you're walking in authenticity and you have integrity, you have different life experiences than people who are not. And that's the energy that people are starting to see about these people. And that's why people are walking away from them, because when you're a spiritual leader, your environment and your actions and the things, the effects, the cause and effect should be different than what's going on here, than people who have substance abuse and addictions and are manipulative. It's going to be different. It's a different energy. So it was a bunch of stray cats and animals that came together acting like they were high and mighty because they were doing energy manipulation. Admit to liking a movie everyone else hated. These people could have possibly even did things that they didn't even want to do, that they didn't even want to do. And they did it anyway because they didn't want to be not liked. Okay, they didn't want to be hated. Hi, Boyer. That's not a reason to do something. You should stand up for yourself and say, take the last piece of pizza. You should gotta stand up for yourself when something doesn't feel right. You don't just follow what people are doing because they're doing it. That's not what we're doing here. Go all in at the poker table, just like the philosophy book said, or what this thing said, what the 48 laws of power said. It said, where is it? Oh man. I don't know where it is, but it was basically saying, even if you don't know what you're doing, pretend that you do and go all in so people don't know that you don't know what you're doing. Go all in at the poker table. Instead of just admitting that you don't know what you're doing, you got all these people in a cycle of karma because you couldn't admit to yourself that you didn't know what you're doing and you didn't want to appear like you didn't know what you were doing. Well, that's stupid. That's just stupid. If you don't know what you're doing, then you shouldn't be doing it. Why are we doing things that we don't understand? Because we want to look cool. Spirit just said education. And I just got a confirmation. So if you don't know how to do something, then you don't do it because there's consequences. Do tech support for their family and friends. This could actually involve their family and friends. This could be affecting their family and friends because they were lying about their capabilities and their knowledge and where they were at. They were acting like they were some kind of like divine, I don't know, being or something. Tear up during a sad movie. Now they could be in a severe state of depression. They're in a severe state of depression because they're receiving energy that they projected onto someone else, onto other people. They're receiving that energy and it doesn't feel good. They don't like the way it feels. Be the first to be eaten in a desperate survival situation because they look so tasty. Be the first. They wanted to be the first because they were desperate. They were desperate to look like they were some kind of person who could survive any situation, to be looked at as a leader. They were in survival mode because they haven't healed from join a cult after falling in love with one of the members. I cannot make it up, you guys. This feminine energy, you're doing some kind of spiritual path. This person's in your energy. I don't know if you work with them or if this is your friend or something like that. They became jealous of you because of your level where you were at on your spiritual journey. So they attracted some masculine who was on the side undercover, pretty much doing a cult, and they fell in love with them, or what they thought was love, and they were susceptible to this person's manipulation. Okay? And they were doing the 48 laws of power where they were manipulating people, and they were doing things that were bad energy. Go commando. Now they're being seen. They're being seen. They're transparent now. Everybody sees what they've been doing. Everyone sees what they've been doing. Pretend not to see a coworker at a supermarket. I cannot make it up. Now they're acting like they forgot what happened. They're acting like they forgot what happened, pretending like what they did didn't happen. They're separating. All these people are just going to pretend like they didn't do this every night and get together and have parties and wear non-prescription glasses for fashion purposes and be fake. and be fake. Just because you can look up some spell online, just because you can go to the old library or pawn shop and buy an old book with some spells in it, doesn't make you a sorcerer. Okay? But they have blocked me. They're acting so weird, as if I'm the one who need them. Your kids are waiting for you. Yes, they are. I'm waiting for this to go to an hour. Tears are good, always. Angels use them for healing. Yes. These people need to, they need to confess. They need to confess what they did so they can release it. Lead a team building exercise. Yeah, they need to get together, have some kind of meeting with each other, and talk about their mistakes. Mistake sarcasm for earnestness, and talk about the mistakes they made with confidence. Be able to pull off a bad haircut with confidence. They need to get offered to be the magician's assistant. I cannot make it up. They need to come together and talk to each other about what happened. They need to get together and admit to each other that they fucked up and that they want to make it right and come to some kind of agreement about how they can fix their mistakes with confidence. That's what Spirit's guiding them to do. They wanted to play with magic. They wanted to get together, do spells, and they thought they were so cool and it was so fun at first. But now, because they were ignorant students of energy and they went into something with the wrong intention, they're now receiving the backlash of that. You're absolutely right, Marie Light Worker. This is karma. Right now. Spirit says right now. Be friends with all of their exes. These are toxic people that always go back to the past. They always go back to their old ways, to old people, to... They need to... I don't know what they need to do. Honestly. I don't know what they can do at this point. They just have to sticky and cozy. They just have to get cozy in the sticky situation that they made for themselves and deal with that. It's the only way. You got to go through the fire. Damn, you got that right. I don't know how, but damn, girl. They're just going to have to go, they're just going to have to deal with what they created. And it's the only way for them to go through the fire and to come out renewed, to deal with the consequences of what they did, and to come to terms that they did it, and to journal and reflect on the actions they took instead of ignoring it and acting like it didn't happen. That's not what you should do with anything. This is good with anything. Okay. I hope it helps. Thank you for sticking around for the technical difficulties earlier. Check out our latest episode of Spirit News on soul integration. It's episode 18. You can find it on all major podcast platforms, and we are so happy to be here. If you want to follow any of our socials, you can find them through the link tree in the description bar. We'd be happy to have you, and we love you so much. Thank you. See you next time. My finger's too cold to press the button. Oh, sorry.